Nu, Shalom Aleichem and Good Yontif, Lashana Teva, Belimud Chassidus, Bedarke, Chassidus Tichosevu, B'Seichasemu. A good year, and we should all be written and inscribed in the study of Chassid, in the study of Chassidus, and in the ways of Chassidus, and it should be on a revealed basis, with all that the study of Chassidus brings. First and foremost, the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach with the Geula Shleim of Amitis, and it should be Teichef Miyad Mamish. As we were saying previously, everyone is filled with literally 3 days. It was an entire weekend of Farbrengens in honor of Yutes Kislev, in Chof Kislev. The Rebbe said that everyone should participate in at least 3 Farbrengens. And whoever didn't have the opportunity yet to participate in 3, hopefully, Bezrat Hashem, this right now, our Farbrengen is going to be counted as one of our Farbrengens. Whoever has already participated, so it's going to be their 4th Farbrengen, Bezrat Hashem, or 5th or 6th or whatever. We're going to hear 2 stories. One is a very is a story of actuality, as we've been unfortunately having to hear miracle stories, yes, but in regard to the war that we're going through, the terrible war since the atrocities of the Simchas Torah of Tafshin Peidalad of this year occurred. But they're incredible miracles, unbelievable miracles. People, you just have to stop for a moment to talk to someone, and they're going to tell you another miracle that happened. Obviously, even before we hear the miracle in this week's story, we want to tell the Kadosh Baruch Hu, we want to tell the Holy One, blessed be He, we want to tell the Rebbe that we don't want any more mini miracles. And we're talking about the greatest of miracles. All these lives that have been saved, as opposed to casualties, people that have healed in the most miraculous way, hostages that have been freed. But in comparison to the great and the biggest wonder that we're all waiting for, these are all minor miracles. Their light is totally nullified to the great light of the big miracle that we're looking forward to. And this is the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach. This is the revelation of the Geula that we are living in right now, as the Rebbe tells us and teaches us. And therefore, it should be Teichef Miyad Mamish, and we shouldn't have to wait any longer. And I see that Rabbi or Rebbitzin or both Lifshitzes are back with us, are coming at least. So Baruch Hashem, we're very happy. And we'll go first, like we said, the first story is going to be a story of actuality. The second story is also going to be connected with actuality, with the holiday of Hanukkah in a certain degree. And our hiskashrus, as Yutes Kislev is the Rosh Hashanah to the Hasidic year, and the core of the Rosh Hashanah, the new year of the Hasidic year, is our connection and our designating ourselves and connecting with the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, with the Mashiach of our generation, the Rebbe of our generation. And that will be in the second story. But first, there was one of the most uncanny stories that I've heard until now. In one of the refugee camps, I can't remember exactly how you spell it, Fata or Fita, or one of the. It's an Arab name, but it's already pretty much into the center of Gaza. The soldiers arrived there, and in the midst of the fighting, there was a little recess. And the soldiers that morning, they right. So I stand corrected. They're not refugees. These are These are animalistic slaughter centers. Call it as you have to call a spade, and all the people there, whether they're soldiers or they're citizens, they're all there for one purpose, and Hashem should watch over us and guard us. But nevertheless, that morning, the soldiers they quickly got together and they made a minyan for Shachris. At least we're talking about a regiment, and there were also religious soldiers that made a minyan for Shachris, and they even had a Sefer Torah because it was the day that the Torah was read. The head of the pluga, the head of the gdud of this regiment, he came to the soldiers and he said that since he was saved from a very, very dangerous situation, so he would like to. He heard that you can say the Birkat HaGomel, right? The blessing upon having a great miracle of salvation that occurs to us. And therefore, he would like to make the blessing. Okay, the commander comes and he says he wants to make the blessing. So definitely, they grabbed him with two hands and they showed him the place where the blessing is. He said the blessing, and he really had tears in his eyes when he was saying the blessing. The davening was finished, and the soldiers they went to have breakfast. Now, needless to say, we're talking about a field breakfast where you have everything in cans, and on a regular situation, the soldiers that have usually they have cans of tuna fish as a regular part of their meal. They open the can of tuna fish and they take a light and they light the tuna fish can on fire because it doesn't taste very well otherwise, and then this makes the tuna fish smoked fish, and that adds to the flavor. We're talking about under regular circumstances. In this type of situation, it wasn't something that was the appropriate thing to do. But one of the soldiers that wasn't thinking, he went, and as he usually does, he opened the tuna fish and he lit a match, and all of a sudden the tuna can blurred up in an enormous flame. Apparently, that oil was like it was getting close to Hanukkah, so the oil really flared up. And his friends started rebuking him and shouting at him, "What are you doing? Don't you know we have all this ammunition around us and all the you're doing a dangerous thing." The soldier that was being shouted at, he was so frightened that he literally took the can as it was hot, and he threw it as far as he could, in order to make sure that to keep the safety of all his fellow soldiers. At the point where the can fell, all of a sudden there was an enormous explosion, and they started hearing bullets being fired, and all the regiment literally loaded their guns and started to start open fire at the place where the explosion occurred. They thought that they were under attack. After like 5 or 10 minutes, that they were sure that whatever was there isn't alive anymore. So all of a sudden, out of the ground, they see a white flag sticking up, and then a head sticks out, and they see that there's a terrorist, someone from the Hamas, Yimach Shmam, that walks out of a tunnel that was literally just maybe like maybe 100 meters away from them. After he walks out, another white flag shows, and another terrorist walks out, and another and another and another. And without them knowing, these terrorists were literally not just 100 meters away from them. They were waiting for nightfall in order to go out and to attack the regiment. And in the merit of most people say in the merit of the tuna fish, but it was literally all the soldiers and even the commander. He realized that when he made the blessing of Hagomel, thanking Hashem for the miracle, he was saying the blessing on a retrospect, on a retroactive basis, because he still had the miracle to come. And this was like, I mean, again, it's a drop in the ocean of all the incredible wonders and miracles that are going on now here in our day and age. But as we said, we want the big miracle, and anything else less than that is not enough. We'll accept it in retrospect, but it's not enough. We want Mashiach now. The second story has to do with a very amazing family. This family, they owned a place called which is called Kfar Sitrin. It was named after one of the children that unfortunately passed before his time in that family, a very wealthy family, and they went and they wanted to go and to purchase an entire plot in Israel in order to go and to designate this plot to have a pnimiyah, to have a dormitory for children that don't have parents, like an orphanage, and there they will have everything that they need, and they will be able to come from all over the world to Eretz Yisrael. Then Rabbi Levi Levayov from Russia, he decided that he wants to go and to have a place for all those that will want to have something called na'aleh. In other words, the children will bring the parents to make aliyah. So he wanted to have a place for all the children that will be able to go. They'll be able to live there in a dormitory and to have regular studies and so on. And so he went and he brought this place from this family. You know, it was generations later. And then in the midst of the Farbrengen and the story, this first story came out. The grandfather of this family, and their family, the family is called Meir. Meir, the grandfather, was a great Talmid Chacham. He wrote a very important book, kind of like a commentary on the Shulchan Aruch Yerodea, the laws of Basar B'Chalav. People that learn Shulchan Aruch and are tested for their rabbinics, they know this book from close. But afterwards, the son of this rabbi, he wasn't that much into his study. He worked for the government, but what he did was a very important job. His job was to go and to be the overlooker on different academic institutes. And according to what he would say, the budget would be given or otherwise to the academic institute. Now, since he was Jewish, and he was also, to a certain extent, he was learned. He knew the language of the yeshivas, so he was given the designated job to go and to oversee the different yeshivas. But they couldn't give him the overlooking on his own, because to oversee on his own, they didn't know if he would collaborate with the yeshivas and so on. They didn't have any reason to suspect, but they just wanted to be on the safe side. So they also put another overseer together with him, a person that was not Jewish. In this particular case, it was an Afro-American. To go and to oversee the different institutes, and to actually see if the students that are written down as active students are really there, or if they're only in theory, and they're only on paper. And so the grandson of this great rabbi, the son of this person that we're talking about right now, he is telling this story. Once they were supposed to come to oversee 770 to Tomchei Tmim in Lubavitch, the central Chabad Lubavitch yeshiva. At that time, it was the beginning years of the Rebbe's leadership. The students of the Frierdiker Rebbe, it was in the times of the Frierdiker Rebbe. The students were not actually sitting and learning in 770, even though that's the way it was written down. The main study center was actually quite a few blocks. It was like maybe 25-minute walk away on Bedford and Dean. It was the yeshiva, the Lubavitch yeshiva. Everyone knew Bedford and Dean. Okay, they received a notice that the people are coming to oversee and to go and to see the students of the yeshiva, and immediately they sent they notified all the bachrim in the yeshiva to hike over, to walk over to 770 and to fill up the yeshiva so that they'll see that there are students. Unfortunately, though, the overseers came a little early, but before they came, while the bachrim were on their way to the yeshiva, the people that were in 770 set up all the tables and benches, so that everything should be ready for people to occupy the benches. The people that from the government came, from the Board of Education, and they walked into 770 and they looked around, and they were thunder-stricken. What's going on? There are tables, there are benches, but the place is empty. And over here it says that they have such and such amount of bachrim. This isn't right. So the Jewish fellow, right, the father of the grandson that's telling the story, he tried to to smooth it over. Listen, maybe we'll wait a little bit. Maybe they're out to lunch. Maybe the other fellow, the Afro-American, said, "Listen, let's not waste our time here. You see the place is empty. Let's go." Wow, let's go. So the people from the yeshiva's management, the Anhola, they were talking to these overseers, and then they went up to the Frierdiker Rebbe to tell the Rebbe what's going on. What are we supposed to do? The bachrim haven't arrived yet, and these people want to pick up and leave. The Frierdiker Rebbe said to the person from the Anhola, "Please ask them to come up to me. Tell them that I would like to meet with them." The Rebbe would like to meet with these people. Okay. They went. So the person went down, and he told them that before they leave, the Rebbe said that he would like to meet them, speak to them. Well, yeah, one thing led to another, and they said at the end, "Okay, you know what? The big rabbi wants to speak to us. We'll go up to speak to him." Now, the Frierdiker Rebbe, his Gan Eden HaElyon, his bureau, his office, was on the second floor of the main building of 770. That's also where he lived, and so the steps leading up, as you would go up, immediately where you went out of the steps, if the door was open, you could literally look into and see the Rebbe sitting at his desk. They went up the stairs, escorted by someone from the yeshiva management, and as they come up to the stairs, so they see the Frierdiker Rebbe right in front of them. The door was open, and he's sitting there. And they saw such an unbelievable shining face. The non-Jew, the Afro-American, he was like standing frozen in his place, and he wasn't able to move, but he barely got out a few words. And he said in English, what are we supposed to do? In other words, he was waiting for instructions. he wasn't coming to hear to speak or anything. He just wanted to know what he's supposed to do now. Now, the Frierdiker Rebbe heard, and the person from the management of the yeshiva, he translated, but the Frierdiker Rebbe already heard from the distance that he was standing, that this person was standing, and the Frierdiker Rebbe took his hand, and he made like he's writing, and the person understood immediately. He understood that the Rebbe is saying to him just to sign the documents, that everything is okay, sign and go. So he asked for a pen. He took the documents. He signed everywhere. Obviously, the Jewish person also, the father of the person telling the story also signed. And then they gave the documents to the Frierdiker Rebbe, and then the Frierdiker Rebbe just put down his head, as if like, no, that's it. We're finished with our we're finished with our meeting. As these two people are turning around to go out back downstairs, so the Jewish Mr. Mayor tells his non-Jewish partner, "I don't understand." So the other fellow says, "What don't you understand?" He says, "I don't understand. A moment ago, before we came upstairs, you were ready to just walk out and leave, and all of a sudden you're asking what you're supposed to do, and you just signed like that. How did you do that? What happened?" He said, "Didn't you see?" He said, "Didn't I see what?" He said, "Didn't you see? Didn't your eyes see? There was an angel of God, Hashem, an angel of the Eibishter sitting right in front of you. How could you even think about doing anything other than whatever he would tell you, whatever he instructs you? This he said is what a Rebbe is all about, and this is what he told about his own father. That this is what a Rebbe is. It's not an individual. It's not a human being. It's an angel of Hashem enclosed in a body. But they saw, at least this the other person, the non-Jew, saw this is an angel of the Eibishter. How could you do anything else? Whatever he says goes. That's it. That's one story. In this story, there's another story from another grandchild of this great rabbi, Rabbi Meir. Again, correlated with the story that we just told, with the son of Rabbi Meir, and this is another grandchild telling the story. In JFK, in the John F. Kennedy Airport, it was also the early years. And they're already right before Hanukkah, and the Bachrim were there. It was actually not before; it was in the midst of the holiday of Hanukkah, and the Bachrim were there doing miftzoim. They were lighting Hanukkah menorahs with people that gathered together in honor of the Chag. They were giving out sufganiyot. They were giving out jelly donuts. People, they were singing, dancing, entertaining. But the whole time that they were working with the populace of the airport, so one of the Bachrim noticed that there's a person standing on the side, and he has like this piercing look about him, and he's they didn't understand, what does this guy want? Like he's not walking away in protest. He's not saying anything. He's just standing there and looking. Making these very strange eyes about all the mitzvah, the mitzvah campaign that the Bachrim are doing. When the action calmed down and there were less people, all of a sudden this person that was still standing there, he walks over to the Bachrim, and he says to them, "Tell me, Do you think that you are the ones that are actually doing the this whole mitzvah campaign? Do you think that the people think that you look like some like really nice people? You speak so nicely and politely. Do you think that's the reason that people get together to hear the blessings and to light the Hanukkah menorah? Do you think that that's the reason that they're really willing to go and to receive a brochure and a jelly donut from you? You shouldn't be fooled. I know the reason. And the reason is that it's not you. The Bachrim saying, what do you mean? I don't understand. Because it's not you. The Rebbe is with you. And every single one of you, when the Rebbe is with you, as you're lighting a Hanukkah menorah, asking a person to have it to receive a jelly donut and say a blessing, the Rebbe is with you. And this is what actually is the influence that is affecting the people that you're speaking with. And then he told the story from the Frierdiker Rebbe, from the previous Rebbe and his father, just the same story that this other grandson told. And he said, if non-Jews can see that a Rebbe is an angel of God, so how can you? Obviously, Jews have the same feeling and they have the same effect, and this is what we have to internalize, each and every one of us, whether we're Lubavitcher Hasidim, whether we're not yet Lubavitcher Hasidim, whether we're Jews that belong to this kreis or another kreis, this congregation to another congregation. Or a simple Jew that's not affiliated with any congregation. The fact of the matter is that when we go out and we speak with another Jew, when we are going and having the opportunity, we're having the schus, the merit of going and speaking with another Jew, whatever we say, whatever words come out of our mouth, it's not really our words. It's the Rebbe's words. The Rebbe is putting the words in our mouth. And as the Rebbe, as we learned here in the Dvar Malchus a few weeks ago, the Rebbe says, every single Jew is a shliach, an emissary of the Eibishter, of the Holy One, blessed be He, an emissary of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, the leader of the generation, the Moshiach of the generation. And when we go and we just walk up to someone, and you know what? We don't even have to walk up to someone. We could just walk in the street. People walk up and come to us, because that's the way light affects the atmosphere. When we go and we hang a light, when we go and we shine a panas, a source of light, so the creation comes and gathers together around the light. And with this, Be'ezras Hashem, the light that we merit for Yutes and Chav Kislev, the Rosh Hashanah Chassidus, the light of the holiday of Hanukkah that's coming up in a few days. With this light, we should merit the light of the light that's already been hidden and concealed for 5,784 years. This is Oirei Shel Moshiach, the light of Moshiach, and we should merit that it should be revealed. Teichef Yad Mamash, and obviously these stories are all in the merit of the soldiers that are in the battlefield or anywhere else in the entire world, going and watching over the security of Am Yisrael, that there should be no casualties whatsoever, and there should be a complete victory and a complete triumph over all the Seinei Yisrael, all those that have hatred to the Jewish nation, that all the injured should be healed immediately now, and all the hostages that Rahman Litzlan are still in captivity, they should be freed in a safe and a healthy manner, and Teichef Miyad Mamish with these golas, with the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, now Mamish Yichi Adoneinu Moreinu V'Rabbeinu HaMelech Ha'Moshiach Chai v'Kayam le'olam voed.